Welcome to Tintes Outdoors. I'm your host, Jesse Tintes. On today's episode, we're going to talk bass fishing and how to properly clean your boat before leaving the boat ramp. But first, let's go to viewer mail. Josh from Buffalo writes, I caught a large bass this weekend. It swallowed my crankbait and I had to cut out the treble hook. How can I repair my favorite lure, and do you recommend a brand of replacement treble hooks? Good question, Josh. Here's what you'll need. A set of split ring pliers, that favorite lure of yours, the damaged hook, and a set of replacement treble hooks. I like to use trocar hooks because they're extremely sharp. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the damaged hook, we're going to take our split ring pliers, we're going to split that ring and remove the old hook. A lot of times you're actually removing not just the hook, but you've also removed the actual split ring itself as well. So now we have our lure. We're going to take the new hook and do just the opposite. We're going to split the ring. We're going to insert the new hook. At the same time, what I like to do is I like to check over the other hooks, split rings, to make sure everything is still functional. All right, your lure is repaired. Let's hit the water and see how it does. All right, we're out here on the water with our favorite lure that's been repaired with a trocar hook. Let's see how it does. Casting into some shaded areas over here on the edge of the shoreline. We want to make sure that we're catching some of these fish as they're coming in the evening to feed. We're casting up shallow right now with some shallow running crankbaits. Trying to get, see if we can get a couple of bites here. Oh, there was a bite. A lot of times I'll go in and I'll cast in around the docks and the boat ramps and stuff. Boat lifts. I've actually got a 7-foot medium Fenwick Atos right now that I'm using. A little bit softer, so I can actually not tear the hooks right out of the actual bass's mouth. It's also paired with our Fenwick Atos rod is an Abu Garcia Pro Max reel. And when you're casting shallow running crankbaits, you want to make sure that you're not retrieving it too fast. So you want to use a little bit slower, like a 6/4 to 1, or some guys even use like a 5/4 to 1. The higher speeds are going to bring your crankbait in a little too fast. Another thing that is really helpful when you're out doing crankbaits, a lot of baits itself, is to hesitate. So when you're reeling in, pause for a second, reel in a little bit, pause for a second, half a second. Just any sort of a pause will sometimes trigger that actual bite itself. That's not just in crankbaits, that's in, you could be fishing spoons, you could be fishing live bait. It's a technique that can actually be used on several different styles of fishing and also for different species of fish as well. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh yeah. All right. Oh, he's going down. He's going deep. He's going deep. Oh, he's got the weeds. He's got salad all over him. Here we go. Here we go. All right. All right. Boy, he went down right away as soon as I caught him. He was not playing around. There we go. Not the biggest fish, but it's still a fish. All right, let's get him back so he can grow a little bit bigger. All right, we got a chance to go over some lure repair, and we're going to take some time now to go through some bass techniques and do some casting and see if we can get a little bit larger fish on our line today. So we're going to cast this shallow running crankbait up a little closer to shore, and we're going to vary our retrieval. A lot of times the fish will bite on a pause. So what you want to do is you don't want to be consistent the entire time, especially if you're not catching fish. You're going to want to change things up and take a look and figure out what the fish are actually looking for. You can sometimes give the pole a little bit of a jerk just to kind of change it up. Oh, here we go. Oh boy. Okay. Stay on. Stay on. Nice thing about using these hooks, especially these trocar treble hooks, as they set, and they set themselves deep. Here he comes. Stay on, stay on. Here we go. Come on, come on. Oh, big mouth on this boy, big mouth. There we go, oh, yeah. There we go. There's a nice pig of a fish this morning. All right, let's see if we can get him taken off quick, and that way we can get it released, put back into the water. Here we go. Oh my, oh, here we go. That's a big one. That's a big one. I don't know if you can see the water down there, but that's a big one. Oh yeah, come on. Oh yeah. He's going back down, he's going back down. I'm trying to get under the boat. Under the boat. Here we go, here we go. Look at the size of it. Oh man. Oh, come on. That's a Minnesota bass for the boys. Come on. Get in there. Oh, he's hooked pretty good. Come on. He swallowed those hooks. Alright, got a pliers here. We're going to see if we can get the hook safely taken out of his mouth really quick and get him put back in the water to live another day. Now there, my friends, is a Minnesota bass. They do grow them big up here. All right, we wanted to talk about how to properly clean your boat before you leave the boat landing, which is going to prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species, plants and animals. This is extremely important to the lakes in your state, and especially in my home state here of Minnesota. Remove, drain, and dispose. So the first thing we want to do is we want to look around the entire boat on the underside and trailer to make sure that there's no invasive plants or animals attached to the actual boat. And the plants are going to be weeds. The animals here are going to be, a good example is a zebra mussel, which will attach to the bottom of your boat, and we'll kind of go over where to look for those as well. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to look underneath the entire boat. I'm going to walk around the entire boat, and I'm going to check to make sure there's nothing hanging from the axles and different points that have got caught as we pulled the boat out of the water. So I'm looking around underneath, checking. I like to get kind of an overall shot from a distance, and then what I'll do is I'll start from the beginning and I'll work my way around the entire boat. And I do see one weed on the back. We'll get that on the other side. I want to get a good shot here, walking around, making sure that there's no weeds hanging on the trailer itself. Work my way around the boat. I do have one weed here. We'll grab this here. And you want to dispose of it, properly dispose of it, get it away from your boat itself. Check your local boat landings. There's usually a sign that talks about the exotic species alert, that talks about different invasive species that may be infested in those waters, that lake or that area you're in. This specific lake that we're on today does not show a zebra mussel alert, but I still like to check the boat to make sure. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll attach themselves to the undersides of the boat. And one of the areas you can't see, so you're going to want to feel, is under this rail right here. So I like to walk and actually feel on the underside to make sure that nothing has attached itself to the bottom there. The rest of the boat, for the most part, you can see. Underneath that rail, you cannot see. So you want to do both sides. And what I'm doing is I'm just checking the feel. They're actually sharp. You'll feel them. It's a shell. And it looks good. The next step is to drain. So we want to drain all of the water from your boat. It's from your live well, from your motor, minnow buckets, in the actual boat itself. You want to make sure that you're getting rid of any of the water that is attached or affiliated that may have came out of this lake that's in your boat right now. So the first thing I like to do is I like to drain the actual motor. People don't realize that there's actually quite a bit of water, lake water, still in the motor itself. I like to drop it down, let it drain. Once it's drained, then we can bring it back up and we can actually put our transom saver in. Put our wedge in. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the actual drain plug on the boat. Should be pretty dry. We've had some rain recently, so there might be a little water inside of our boat yet. So our next step is to drain the live wells. We want to make sure, like we said, we want to remove all water from the boat. So we're going to take our live well, we're going to switch it to the open position. We're going to do that on both live wells to make sure that they're properly drained. I'm going to do this one here as well. You also want to make sure that you're draining your bait bucket. We didn't have any live bait on this trip, but if you do have leftover live bait, you want to check at your boat landing for the proper place to dispose of the live bait. Here in Minnesota, you're not allowed to dispose the bait back into the actual lake. Make sure your bait bucket is empty, and you can put it back in your boat. All right, make sure that you're checking with your local laws and regulations with the Department of Natural Resources on what they want you to do when you leave the boat ramp when it comes to cleaning up your boat and gear. We want to thank Josh for his question. If you have a question that you want to submit, go to our Facebook page, Tintes Outdoors, and send us a message. We hope to see you on the water. See if we can maybe get a little different reaction from these fish. Okay, that's the tree fish we've already tried catching. This is literally the camera, I know, guys, isn't it?
Don't you hit me.
Bad. If you'd like a little more, if you'd like a little bit more information on how I got that out of the tree, I can give you step-by-step instructions.
Mm-hmm.